Your garage is silently eating thousands of dollars in square footage right now, and you have no clue it is happening. 62% of Americans say the garage is the most cluttered room in their home, and 36% of them cannot fit a car inside the one space literally built to hold a car. However, this is not a storage problem. It is 8 specific layout mistakes almost every homeowner makes. Stick around, because number 1 is the one that undoes every other fix on this list. Let us get into it. Number 8. Treating the floor like your main storage shelf. Walk into any messy American garage, and the opening scene is always the same. Boxes stacked on bare concrete, bikes leaning on a wall, bags of potting soil slumped over like tired passengers on a long bus ride. Floor storage feels easy because it requires zero planning. You put the thing down, you walk away. Problem solved, right? However, that one habit is stealing more square footage from you than anything else in this entire video. The average 2-car garage in America measures 20 by 20 feet. That is 400 square feet of floor space, and most of it vanishes under clutter within the first year of ownership. Meanwhile, the standard garage ceiling sits at 8 to 9 feet high, and most homeowners only use the bottom 5 feet. Translation: 3 to 4 vertical feet of prime storage real estate is sitting empty above your head while your floor turns into an obstacle course. Family Handyman recommends adding 3/4-inch plywood over the drywall so hooks and brackets can mount anywhere, not just on studs. That one upgrade alone doubles your usable wall capacity overnight. But floor storage does more damage than most people realize. It traps moisture under boxes, which quietly warps cardboard and rusts metal tools over time. It invites mice and spiders looking for dry nesting spots close to food smells. It turns weekend sweeping into a 2-hour archaeology dig where you rediscover items you forgot you owned. And it makes your garage feel half its actual size the second someone walks in the door. But dumping gear on the concrete is just the warm-up. Because even when people finally try to fix it, they skip past the single biggest storage zone in the whole building. Number 7. Ignoring the ceiling completely. Look up in your garage. Right now, if all you see is bare drywall and maybe a dusty bulb hanging from a cord, you are wasting roughly 40% of your total storage capacity. The ceiling is the most underused square footage in American homes, and it explains why so many garages feel cramped even when the walls are half empty. Holiday decorations, camping gear, snow tires, luggage, kayaks, coolers, fishing rods, artificial Christmas trees, pool floats. Almost none of this gear gets touched more than a few times a year. Therefore, none of it should eat floor space. A Flex Amounts overhead rack holds up to 600 pounds and installs in about an hour with basic tools. That is enough capacity to pull every seasonal bin off your floor in a single Saturday afternoon and reclaim an entire parking spot in the process. However, there is one rule that is not optional. Always install overhead racks into ceiling joists, never into drywall alone. Drywall anchors will fail the second you load real weight onto them. Because a rack full of camping gear crashing down onto your car hood at 2 in the morning is a story you only want to tell once, and the insurance claim that follows is absolutely not fun either. Ceiling storage is the closest thing to free square footage you will ever get in your house. But this next move is where smart overhead installs turn into expensive disasters fast. Number 6. Blocking the garage door tracks and opener. Here is the mistake that costs real money in the long run. When shelves sit too close to the door tracks, or an overhead rack parks right above the opener motor, you create slow-motion mechanical failure. Tracks get nudged out of alignment. The opener works harder than it was ever built to. Safety sensors lose line of sight with each other. Eventually, the door runs crooked, starts binding, and the motor burns out years earlier than it should. You end up writing a check for $300 to $1,500 on a replacement that should have lasted another decade. The space directly in front of the opener mechanism is basically dead zone for overhead storage. You need clear access for maintenance, sensor alignment, and spring replacement down the road. The door itself needs an unobstructed travel path from fully closed to fully open. Precision Garage Door specifies a minimum of 6 inches of headroom above the door and 14 to 18 inches of ceiling clearance to fit the opener system properly. Bob Vila and the International Association of Certified Home Inspectors both flag this as the single most common garage layout mistake in America. Because people see that empty air near the door and think, free storage. Wrong answer. Therefore, the rule is simple. Leave at least 18 inches of vertical clearance above any door hardware. Never mount shelving inside the door's swing path. Keep the photo eye sensors completely clear on both sides at all times. Your opener will outlast your car if you just give it room to breathe and function the way the engineers designed it. But even homeowners who respect the door tracks still bleed square footage. And this next mistake is where most garages quietly lose 20% of their usable footprint without anyone noticing. Number 5. Letting the corners become dead zones. Every garage has 4 corners. For most people, 2 of them become what contractors politely call catch-all zones. Translation: spider hotels. Paint cans from 2015 fossilize in one corner. A broken leaf blower rots in the other. Between them, a leaning tower of Amazon boxes grows like slow-motion fungus. Meanwhile, that exact real estate could be holding your most valuable everyday gear. Corner storage is wildly underrated in the home improvement world. A tall corner cabinet or L-shaped workbench flips dead space into premium space instantly. Air compressors actually run quieter in corners because 2 walls absorb the noise instead of bouncing it around the whole room. Shop vacs, battery chargers, welding rigs, standing toolboxes, and shop fridges all work better tucked into corners because they get structural wall support on 2 sides and free up your long walls for proper shelving runs. Here is the wild number most people never stop to calculate. Most 2-car garages have roughly 16 to 24 linear feet of unused vertical corner space stacked floor to ceiling. That is enough stacked real estate to hold an entire household's worth of seasonal gear if you actually put it to work. A simple corner shelf 12 to 15 inches deep handles 60 to 80 pounds without touching your floor. Put something tall and genuinely useful in every single corner, and your garage will feel 20% bigger the very next morning. However, even people with perfectly organized corners still run into one mistake that sabotages the entire layout. This next one is the reason your organization system collapses back into total chaos 3 months after you finish building it. Number 4. Having no zones at all. This is the silent killer of garage layouts. You walk in one morning looking for a flathead screwdriver, and 20 minutes later you are elbow deep in a bin that somehow contains Christmas lights, motor oil, a tennis ball, 3 mystery keys, and a hot glue gun that has not worked since 2019. The National Association of Professional Organizers found that 50% of homeowners name the garage as the most disorganized space in their entire house. The root cause is almost always the same: no zones. A zoneless garage is a grocery store with no aisles and no signs. Everything is technically somewhere on the shelves, but finding anything takes forever and you give up halfway through. Therefore, you stop putting things away because it feels pointless. The clutter snowballs. The usable space shrinks. Suddenly, you are one of the 20% of homeowners who have actually argued with a spouse about the state of the garage, according to Gladiator GarageWorks research. 1 in 5 American marriages has had a real fight about garage clutter. That is how serious this problem gets. The fix is 4 to 6 clearly defined zones in a standard 2-car garage. Automotive gear by the side door where you actually work on the car. Tools clustered around the workbench. Sports equipment near the main garage door for grab-and-go access on the way out. Seasonal bins high up on overhead racks where you can forget about them for 10 months a year. Gardening supplies near whatever door leads to the yard. Color-coded floor tape makes each zone obvious even to kids and house guests, so stuff actually ends up back where it belongs instead of floating around. But here's where it gets wild. Even with perfect zones, most homeowners still pick the worst possible spot for the one piece of equipment that makes or breaks a garage. This next mistake shows up in roughly 90% of American garages. Number 3. Putting the workbench in the worst possible spot. Most people plop the workbench wherever there happens to be an empty wall. Back corner, middle of the room, right behind where the car parks. None of those spots actually work, because a workbench needs 3 specific things to function as more than a cluttered shelf, and random placement ignores all 3 of them. Your bench needs a wall with live electrical outlets within easy reach. It needs natural light if possible, which usually means a window nearby so you can see what you are actually doing. And it needs at least 6 feet of linear length so you can handle anything longer than a shoebox without pieces hanging off both ends. The Husky 46-inch workbench from Home Depot is a solid starter unit, but placement matters far more than brand. A bench jammed into a dark corner with no outlets is just an expensive horizontal dumping ground with splinters and no real use. Mount a pegboard directly above the bench surface for your hand tools. Arrange them by function, not size, so you can grab a drill bit without scanning the entire wall like you are looking for Waldo. Keep power tools in drawers below the bench or on a dedicated shelving unit inside the same zone. Workshop experts consistently estimate that only 10% of your tools get daily use. Those 10% deserve premium placement at shoulder to eye height in the main work zone. Everything else can live higher up on the wall or tucked further back in drawers where you do not see it every single day. However, a perfectly placed workbench will not save you from the next mistake. This one is quietly the most expensive mistake on the entire list, and it costs real money every single year you ignore it. Number 2. Zero walkway planning and zero clearance around the car. The minimum comfortable walkway in a garage is 36 inches across. 48 inches works much better if you regularly carry bulky items or have kids dragging sports gear through on the way to practice. Most garages? They have maybe 20 inches of walkway left because shelves, bikes, and bins keep creeping into the path year after year like a slow-motion invasion of personal space. Bob Vila recommends at least 2.5 to 3 feet of clearance on each side of a parked car. That clearance is not some luxury nice to have. It is what keeps car doors from smacking into shelving units every time you open them. It is what gives you room to haul groceries, change a flat tire, or load a trunk without folding yourself into a pretzel just to reach the handle. A single door ding from a shelf corner costs roughly $400 at a body shop. A leaning shelf clipped by a side mirror takes out the whole assembly. That is another $600 gone in 3 seconds of rushing home from work late. A Wall Street Journal survey of 900 homeowners found that only 70% of the average garage is actually available for parking. The other 30% disappears into slow-motion storage creep over the years. Therefore, the real workflow has to start with the car, not with the shelves. Park the vehicle first. Open every door and the tailgate. Mark the actual door swing with painter's tape on the concrete floor. Then build everything else outside that tape line. Every shelf, every hook, every single storage unit stays on the far side of that painted boundary. The garage serves the car, not the other way around. But clearance only solves half the battle. Because even with perfect walkways and beautiful zones, the number one mistake is the one that nukes every garage layout faster than all the others combined. Number 1. Buying storage before purging. This is the mistake that undoes every single fix on this list. 75% of homeowners wish their garage was better organized. So they drive to Home Depot, drop $300 or $400 on plastic bins and wire shelving, haul it all home, and then cram every existing item into the shiny new system without tossing one single thing out. 3 months later, back to total chaos, just now with nicer labels on the bins. Because buying storage before purging just organizes your clutter instead of eliminating it. Now brace yourself for the statistic that explains everything. 1/3 of homeowners literally do not know what is stored in their own garage. They have zero clue what is actually in there. How are you supposed to organize something you cannot even identify? A long-running UCLA study that photographed 32 Los Angeles families over 9 years found that 3 out of 4 households had too much stuff in their garage to park a single car inside. It was never a storage capacity problem. It was always a volume problem hiding in plain sight the whole time. The 1-year rule fixes this fast, and it is brutal on purpose. If you have not touched an item in a full year, it does not belong in your garage. Donate it. Sell it. Toss it. Be ruthless about every single category. Pull every single thing out onto the driveway one Saturday morning, and only let items back inside if they pass the test. Then, and only then, do you buy storage that matches what you actually own and actually use every week. Here is the kicker nobody in the industry wants you to hear. The U.S. garage organization market hit $3.46 billion in 2024 and is climbing towards $6.71 billion by 2033. Most of that money goes towards storage that organizes junk instead of replacing it entirely. Purge first, and you will spend half as much on storage that actually fits your life, and your garage will finally function the way you imagined it would when you first moved in. So which of these 8 mistakes is costing you the most space right now? Every real garage transformation starts the same way. Purge, then zone, then build up instead of out. Tackle it this weekend, and you will wonder how you ever lived with the old version. Hit subscribe for more home breakdowns that actually work.